Today, we're going to take a journey through a typical, stressful day, but we're going to look at it from a really unique perspective. Your stomachs. We're about to dive deep into that powerful and honestly often overlooked connection between what's going on in your head and what your gut is feeling moment by moment.
I mean, we've all been there, right? That little fluttery feeling before a big presentation, or that tight, heavy knot when you're under a ton of pressure. Well, it turns out that's not just a cute saying. That's your biology in action, and it's the perfect place for us to start our story today.
So picture this. The alarm blares. The day has barely even started, and your mind is already racing, thinking about traffic, deadlines, that email you forgot to send. This is the morning rush. And as your mind is spinning up, another part of you is already feeling every bit of it. Your gut, which many scientists actually call our second brain. And the scale of this is just staggering. Your gut has over 100 million nerve cells. Now, to put that in perspective, that is more nerve cells than your entire spinal cord. This whole network is so complex and so smart, it's actually called the enteric nervous system. It's basically a brain in your belly that can operate on its own, and it's constantly talking to the one in your head.
All right, let's fast forward to the middle of the day. Maybe you skipped breakfast, your boss just dropped a last-minute emergency task on your desk, and you're trying to scarf down a sandwich while checking emails. Welcome to the midday squeeze. This is when stress really hits its peak, and a whole chemical cascade gets unleashed inside your body. And it really all comes down to one key hormone, cortisol. Now here's the wild part. When your brain perceives stress, it can't tell the difference between a looming deadline and, say, a literal tiger about to pounce. It's all just threat. So either way, it tells your adrenal glands to pump out cortisol, which is the main player in your body's fight or flight response.
But you know, cortisol isn't actually the bad guy in this story. It has a healthy, natural rhythm. It's supposed to peak in the morning to wake you up and get you going, and then it slowly tapers off during the day so you can wind down for sleep. The problem isn't cortisol itself. It's when chronic, relentless stress keeps those levels jacked up all day long. And this brings us to the superhighway that connects our two brains, the gut-brain axis. I want you to think of it like a constant, two-way flow of traffic on a major highway. Stress signals travel south from the brain to the gut, and gut feelings, yep, those are real, travel north from the gut right back to the brain. This image here shows that feedback loop perfectly. Your brain sends stress signals down to the gut, which can really mess with digestion. But then, an unhappy, irritated gut sends its own distress signals back up to the brain, which can make you feel even more stressed and anxious. It's a really vicious cycle. Now, this is a fascinating little evolutionary hangover. Back when our ancestors were facing a real threat, the body very wisely diverted its resources. Blood and energy were pulled away from non-essential tasks like digestion and sent to the muscles to run or fight. The problem is, in our modern lives, that just means your lunch sits in your stomach like a rock, leading to bloating, cramping, and all that discomfort. So what happens when that fight or flight switch gets stuck in the on position day after day after day? Well, the consequences start to become very physical and very uncomfortable. Let's look at the direct hit your digestive system takes. Honestly, chronic stress is like a wrecking ball for your gut. It literally changes the environment inside you. It can kill off the good bacteria that help produce things like serotonin, your body's natural mood boosters. It can even weaken the lining of your intestines, which can lead to a condition some people call leaky gut. For some of us, when stress hits, it's like our body hits the gas pedal. The intestines start contracting really fast, pushing everything through the system way, way too quickly. You know that urgent, gotta go now feeling before a big meeting? Yeah, this is what's happening behind the scenes. But for others, anxiety slams on the brakes. The gut basically goes into a state of shock, becoming sluggish and, stunned. Everything just slows to a crawl, and that leads to bloating, discomfort, and constipation. It's the total opposite reaction, but it's triggered by the exact same stress. And what about that feeling of nausea, that queasiness you get when you're really worried? Well, that's happening because your stomach is holding onto its contents for too long. The normal process of emptying gets delayed, and that food just lingering there is what makes you feel sick. Okay, so we've mapped out the whole problem. We see the feedback loop, we understand the physical symptoms, but the most important question is still on the table. What can we actually do about it? How do we get off this gut-wrenching roller coaster? Let's move to the last part of our day, the evening wind down. This is our chance. This is our opportunity to intentionally push back against the stress of the day and give our gut a real chance to recover. It's all about being proactive, not just reacting to the discomfort. And here is the absolute key takeaway. You can't just treat the symptoms. Popping an antacid is just a temporary band-aid. To truly break the cycle, you have to tackle both sides of that gut-brain axis. You have to calm the mind and actively support the gut. It's a two-way street. The really good news is there are simple, powerful strategies you can use. So let's build our gut-soothing toolkit with some real, actionable things you can start doing, like tonight. First up, let's talk food. When your gut is feeling irritated and inflamed, think simple and soothing. The foods on the left here are gentle, they're easy to digest. Things like ginger and peppermint are actually actively calming for your system. On the flip side, the items on the right, like caffeine, spicy foods, alcohol, they can act as major irritants, basically just adding fuel to the fire. Okay, here's something cool you can do right now wherever you are. This is a simple exercise that helps stimulate your vagus nerve, which is a massive communication line in that gut-brain axis. So by gently tapping this area while you're breathing deeply, you're sending a direct signal to your nervous system to calm down and switch from fight or flight mode into rest and digest mode. And beyond that immediate relief, building strong foundations is absolutely key. These aren't quick fixes. These are the long-term strategies that really make a difference. And notice how things like quality sleep, a little bit of exercise, and mindfulness, they benefit both your stress levels and your gut health at the exact same time. And this right here is the beautiful takeaway from all of this. It's never a choice between helping your mind or helping your gut. They are so deeply connected that every time you take a mindful walk to clear your head, you are also helping your digestion. Every time you choose a gut-friendly meal, you are also supporting your mental well-being. So the next time you feel those butterflies or that tight knot in your stomach, maybe don't just brush it off. See it for what it really is. It's a direct message from your second brain. It's vital data about your stress levels, about your overall health. The only question left is, are you ready to start listening?
All right, ever wonder what a stressful day actually does to your stomach? Let's take a look.
For so many of us, the day starts with that awful, fiery feeling of acid reflux.
You've probably heard of GERD, but what's the real cause hiding behind that name? A lot of the time, it's what we call a nervous stomach. Yup, it's a direct result of stress.
Okay, fast forward to midday. This is when work pressure really starts to build up. Check this out. A recent study on package couriers found something pretty surprising. Get this, a whopping 72% of them had symptoms of gastric acid disease. That's huge. And it gets crazier. The higher the mental workload, the higher the rate of reflux. Look, 100%.
This is a perfect example of the brain-gut axis. Your brain stress literally hurts your gut.
But it's not just your job. There are 3 silent enemies in our daily routines too. Yep, staying up late, skipping breakfast, and constant stress. It's the perfect storm for your stomach. Skipping breakfast is a really bad one. That acid has nowhere to go but your stomach lining. Then you get to the end of the day, and another big mistake, the late-night meal. If you want to avoid a rough night, just remember this one magic number, 3. And it's not just about acid. This rule helps your heart rate, blood pressure, even blood sugar. So, what can you do? Well, the good news is you're in control, starting with your next meal. Stick with gentle foods. And you'll want to watch out for the usual suspects, like spicy stuff and caffeine. So let's recap the routine. Always eat breakfast, keep meals small, and stick to that 3-hour rule. And don't forget your mind. Good sleep, a little yoga, a short walk, it really all adds up. You know, your body is always talking to you. The real question is, are you listening?